What if a time-traveling pharaoh from ancient Egypt showed up in 2024? Let's say it's Ramses II, arguably one of the most famous and beloved pharaohs of all time, known for his many wives, many children, and for being immortalized in the smash hit musical and movie, The Ten Commandments. How would he react to the modern world? Well, let's start with something simple, like a smartphone. Now, Ramses was no dummy. He ruled Egypt for over 60 years and made some pretty big decisions that affected a lot of people. He was also reportedly very interested in technology and engineering for his time. He was fascinated by the process of making things, which is why he became an engineer at 15. But would that fascination extend to a smartphone? Could he wrap his mind around the idea of a portable computer that allows you to talk to anyone in the world instantly? Maybe, but there's also the possibility that he'd just be completely overwhelmed. I mean, smartphones are complicated. They full of tiny moving parts, and they require a certain level of abstract thinking that may have been a bit advanced, even for Ramses II. It's hard to say, but what about something a little more familiar, like a horse? Horses were obviously a huge part of life in ancient Egypt. They were used for transportation, for war, and even for plowing the fields. In fact, some historians believe that the Egyptians domesticated the horse before they even built the pyramids. So Ramses would definitely be familiar with horses. But how would he feel about them being used as a means of transportation in the modern world? Would he marvel at the sleek design of a modern racehorse, or would he be horrified by the way they retreated in the racing industry? Hard to say, but here's a fun thought. Would he still be able to ride a horse after being in a time-traveling stasis pod for so long? Time traveling really messes with your body's internal clock. Maybe he'd show up in the middle of a race and whip off his robes to reveal a jockey's outfit underneath. And then he'd hop on a horse and win the Belmont Stakes. Okay, enough about horses. Let's talk about cars. Cars are obviously a huge part of life in the modern world. In fact, some historians believe that the love affair between humans and cars began in ancient Egypt when people first started to domesticate animals. But in all seriousness, how would Ramses feel about cars? Would he be amazed by their power and efficiency, or would he be scared of the chaos they create? Cars are loud, and they're fast, and they emit toxic fumes that are bad for the environment. Not exactly the kind of thing you want to be messing around with. If Ramses was anything like me, he'd probably be a little bit of both. I mean, cars are amazing, but they're also kind of terrifying. But what about the pyramids? The pyramids are obviously one of the most iconic structures in the world. And they're also one of the biggest mysteries. Who built them and why? Well, we know that the Egyptians built the pyramids as tombs for their pharaohs. But beyond that, there are all sorts of theories. Some people believe that the pyramids were actually a giant battery, or that they were used for time travel. Of course, these theories are not supported by mainstream historians, but that hasn't stopped them from circulating online. So how would Ramses feel about the pyramids today? Would he be proud that his final resting place is one of the most popular tourist destinations in the world? Or would he be annoyed by all the tourists taking pictures in front of it? Maybe he'd just be confused. I mean, he spent 60 years building the damn thing. But if he showed up in the modern day and saw that everyone was just walking around on top of it, he might be a little bit upset. In the end, it's impossible to say how Ramses II would react to the modern world. He was a complex man who ruled for over 60 years. He accomplished a lot during his reign, but he also made some pretty big mistakes. But one thing is for sure, he wouldn't be short for long because this channel just made him immortal. I'm just kidding, but seriously, what do you think Ramses would think of the modern world? Let us know in the comments below, and while you're down there, be sure to like and subscribe for more fun history content. Thanks for watching. See you next time.